Hi there, sleepy soul. Tonight's story is just for you, to help you relax, unwind, and drift into a peaceful sleep. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments where you're listening from and the time there. I'm Cole Weston, 31, night cashier at the Lone Fur Travel Stop, 30 unlit miles east of Billings, Montana, where the prairie looks endless until the dark turns it into a wall. It's the kind of job you take when you're dodging student loan collectors and the last of your paramedic dreams have dried up. Nobody bothers you out here, management said. Night shift's peaceful. They forgot to mention peacefulness is just silence you haven't listened to hard enough. That Thursday started with wet wind slapping the windows, the highway slick as a tongue. My first 4 customers were regulars, cattle haulers grabbing burnt coffee, and a young couple whose headlights kept blinking like they'd short-circuited. At 11:42 p.m. the station's automated PA crackled, scheduled tank pressure test commencing. Lock all exterior doors for employee safety. It was a new protocol, emailed that afternoon, so I walked the perimeter, slid the steel bolts, and felt the building settle like a coffin lid. 12 minutes later, a black Lincoln Navigator eased beneath the canopy. No plates, windows smoked darker than Montana midnight. The driver, late 40s, salt and pepper buzz cut, dark windbreaker, knocked politely on the glass. Bathroom, he mouthed, flashing a company fuel card through the ring. Against policy, I buzzed him in through the side door. His boots left perfect crescents of mud to the restroom, but I never heard the flush. He was gone by the time I leaned over the counter again, a single red smear, his thumb, on the door handle. The only thing he'd left was a white igloo cooler perched beside pump 3, like somebody's forgotten picnic. I hauled it inside, figuring lost property. The lid wasn't latched. It clicked open under my thumb. Inside lay 2 vacuum-sealed pouches on dry ice. The first was just watery blood. The second held something pale, fist-sized, webbed with purple veins. At paramedic school, they made us memorize organ shapes. Kidneys are bean-like, liver sprawl. But a human heart is unmistakable, even when the aorta is snipped neat like florist's twine. My lungs folded. I slammed the lid. Call 911. Landline. No dial tone. Tank test, maybe? Cell. Bars vanished to 0, a spinning search icon teasing me. Outside, rain thickened, muting the world. Then the store phone rang, internal extension only. I answered, voice trembling. Cole, this is District Manager Reed, said a calm male voice I'd never heard. You found sensitive medical cargo. It's a rush transplant run. Place the cooler behind the outside ice locker, slots marked authorized only. A courier will collect. Do not open it again. He ended before I breathed a word. There'd never been a marked slot behind the ice locker. Curiosity wrestled fear, and fear lost. I stepped into the downpour, cooler numbing my palms. Sure enough, a fresh-cut panel in the aluminum housing gaped just wide enough. I slid the igloo in. It vanished like mail into a box. At 1:03 a.m., a silver Corolla rolled up. The driver, mid-20s, baseball cap, trembling, rushed to the locker, tugged at the panel, cursed when it jammed. He spotted me watching through the window and bolted inside. You lock it wrong, he hissed, water dripping off his bill. His eyes flicked everywhere but mine. When I told him corporate had me stow it, panic cracked his voice. It can't sit. Clock's ticking. Open it. He slid a folding knife across the counter. Not a threat, an order. I hesitated long enough for headlights to sweep the lot. The Lincoln was back. The Corolla guy's face drained. Too late, he whispered, backing toward the beer aisle. 2 men exited the Navigator, one the buzz-cut driver, the other a heavy-set guy in a highway maintenance jacket. They moved with rehearsed calm, carrying nobody's business duffel bags. I snapped the deadbolt, but the door I'd buzzed open earlier hadn't relatched. They walked right in. Maintenance jacket nodded at me, then at the cooler slot outside. Problem? His voice was syrupy, polite. Buzzcut stared holes through my skull. Corolla kid lunged first, trying to sprint out. Jacket swung a stun gun. 50,000 volts folded the kid mid-stride. He hit the tile convulsing. Buzzcut produced a Metro medical lanyard, like flashing a badge. He's stealing transplant tissue, he told me. You'll want to step aside for the patient's sake. My brain screamed hospital, donors, teams and scrubs, not midnight backlot pickups. I blurted that I'd called the police. A thin smile. No, you didn't. He lifted his phone, tapped. My cell vibrated, signal jammer disabled. Then bars reappeared. He'd been blocking it remotely. That was my moment. I dove, snatched Corolla kid's dropped keys, and bolted out the service exit into sideways rain. The cooler still fit in the slot, just barely. I wrenched it free, heart battering harder than the one inside. Behind me, Jacket shouted, feet pounding. Corolla's engine fired on the first try. I fishtailed onto the highway, wipers useless against sheets of water. In the rearview, the Navigator's LED headlights blossomed, gaining fast. My plan was sloppy but singular. Drive to the county sheriff's substation 20 miles west. 10 miles in, blue-white strobes filled the mirror. The Navigator? No, Montana Highway Patrol. Relief punched through me. I skidded onto the shoulder, hands up. The trooper approached, rain slickening his Stetson. "We got a stolen vehicle alert," he said over the wind. "Mind stepping out?" I stammered that I'd borrowed the car to stop a crime. He glanced at the cooler buckled into the passenger seat. "That from Lone Fir?" My stomach ice dropped. He knew. Before I answered, another cruiser arrived. 2 officers flanked me, calm but determined. One lifted the cooler, checked a barcode underneath, and nodded. The trooper exhaled. "Thanks for the delivery, sir. We'll take it from here." I backed away. "Those men, they stunned someone. He needs help." A pause. "Paramedics are en route," another officer said. Yet none called it in. Their radios stayed silent. Partnerships forged in money, not law. Handcuffs clicked around my wrists. The trooper leaned close. "You looked inside, right? Curiosity's expensive." He opened his cruiser's trunk, empty but for restraints in a folded gurney. Rain hammered the metal. They laid me face down on the gurney, straps crossing my chest, legs, forehead. I screamed for roadside traffic that wasn't there. Someone pried my wallet free, slid out my driver's license. "Blood type O negative," Buzzcut's voice noted behind me, serene. "Universal donor." Perfect. Highway patrol lights winked off. Darkness reclaimed the asphalt. The Navigator idled beside us, its cargo door yawning like a jaw. I felt the gurney tilt, wheels rolling. Above, clouds tore to reveal a fragment of moon. White, round, glistening like the heart I'd tried to save. They slid me into the van next to an open ice chest. Inside it, a vacuum-sealed pouch waited, empty, patient, exactly my size.